Hello guys, Jerry speaking. Welcome to Bedtime Stories, episode number 423. Today we read you the Beatles, a local book biography. So let's read it down, shall we? See what we got for us. It's written by Julie Garsky. How to pronounce his last name? Her last name, excuse me. Anyway, I was in the middle of recording a tape while I'm taping this Bedtime Stories. Anyway, stories episode. Anyway, illustrated by Maggie Plensky. Published by Golden Book New York release, copyright 2023, all right reserved. It's a New Year's episode of Bedtime Stories, but that's just me, of course. But anyway, yeah, let's keep going. John, Paul, George, Ringo were four friends from Liverpool, okay? And who rocked the world to be as the Beatles, okay? Each year, millions of visitors come to the bustling, excuse me, okay, city in northwest England to learn about the band and see where their musical dream began, okay? To make more sense in any way, and that way it can be more easier. So there you go on that. It can make more difference in any way. Next page. Anyway. Oh, I can show you the pages, but that would make more sense, but whatever. It can be anyway. Next page. John lives in London, was born in Liverpool on October 9th, 1940. Anyway, his middle name came from England's Prime Minister at the time, Winston Churchill, okay? Sorry about that, everyone. I was just looking at the tape right now. But anyway, when John's parents split up, he went to live with his Aunt Mimi, okay? John spent hours in his room drawing cartoons, to make more sense anyway. Writing stories and playing his guitar. The guitar was a gift from his mother, Julia, who died when he was 17. Wow, okay. Paul Ricardo was born on June 18th, 1942. Okay? Into a house full of my music, okay? His father was a cotton salesman and would play piano and trumpet in his own jazz band. Okay? Paul turned down music lessons and instead taught himself how to play the piano and guitar. Like John, Paul lost his mother when he was young. Okay? But John and Paul shared something else that would bring the two together, a love of music. Okay? To make more sense in any way. So that way, these two people who have known each other for the past several years as the Beatles members. So there you go on that. Anyways, next page. Anyway, one summer day, Paul dropped out by a festival to hear a band called The Quarrymen. Started by John, The Quarrymen, played rock and roll music and jazzy tunes called Stifle, okay? During the band's break, Paul played a few songs on the guitar. John liked what he heard and asked him to join the band. The Quarrymen had kids dancing all over Liverpool. When they needed a third guitarist, Paul suggested his friend George Harrison. Born February 25th, 1943, George fell in love with rock and roll after he heard Elvis Presley play Heartbreak Hotel. When he got his first guitar, George practiced it so much that his fingers were sore. To make more sense in any way, even though it's perfect to make more sense. Even though it's a great difference of all that. To make more difference from the whole essential guitar lessons. So, there you go. Next page. Anyway, all that practice paid off. At the age of 15, George auditioned with the Quarrymen and on the top of the double-decker bus. The band had found their new guitarist. Now, all that needed was a new name. One of the highest group at the time was the Crickets. Wow, okay. John thought it would be cool for them band that have a Bud name as well. Guitarist Stuart Covey, for the announcer's last name, suggested Beatles or Beatles. When their new name became a new goal, the Beatles would become famous, or as they would like to say, they go to the toppermost or the poppermost. To make more sense in a way. Caterpillars, crickets, bumblebees, and of course, moths. Yeah, those are the names. To make more sense in a way. And make a difference in all of that. Next page. Anyway, the Beatles were still far from famous for where they invited to perform in Hamburg, Germany. John, Paul, George, and Stuart, and drummer Pete Best jumped at the chance to bring the tunes overseas. The band played over every day of the week, sometimes as long as 8 hours. Wow. After months of rock in Hamburg, the Beatles left Germany for the new mop top haircut. Anyway, new mop top haircut. Something like that. I don't know. More fans as their first recorded single, the My Body. They also left without Stuart, who stayed in Hamburg to study art. Wow. To make more sense in any way. Even though it's a great difference from all of that. Even though Stuart is, I felt worried for Stuart at this point. But the Beatles will stay on at that point forward. Next page. Anyway, the Beatles were back in Liverpool and back to performing at small clubs. Fans stood wall to wall to hear them play. Okay, the band's popularity was growing, something like that. As they needed a recording contract and a little help from a friend named Brian Epstein. The Beatles' new manager, Brian got right to work. Okay, first he changed the new band's look. Instead of leather jackets and jeans, John, Paul, George, and Pete would perform in suits and ties. Something like that, okay? And the boys were expected to act like polite gentlemen and always be on time for their shows. To make more difference in any way, even though it's the 1960s. To make more difference in all of that. Next page. Anyway, John Paul got to work as well. Teaming up to write new songs. Paul wrote his lyrics neatly in a notebook. John scribbled his songs on random scraps of paper. The writing songs was different, but they led to the catchy tunes such as She Loves You and I Want to Hold Your Hand. The Beatles have great new songs, but still no recording contract. Finally, music producer named George Martin invited John, Paul, George, and Pete to audition in the studio. After hearing them play Love Me Do, he offered the Beatles a contract and suggestion: find a new drummer. Sorry about that, I just had to do something, but wow. Pete Best was a drummer, but really? Auditioning drummers like this, really? It's kind of like in the 80s where Metallica, for example, okay? They fought, James and Lars fired Dave Mustaine, the lead guitarist, making, no warning, no second chance, and they got moved on to Megadeth. And James Lars and Cliff Burton, the late Cliff Burton, have hired, Kurt Hammond the next day, hours later, to make more sense in any way. So, that was the main thought, to make more difference in all of that. So, that was the main difference in all of this in any way. So, to make more difference in all of that. Next page. Anyway, saying goodbye to Pete wasn't easy, But the Beatles would say hello to the awesome drummer named Liverpool who called himself Ringo Starr. Born Richard Starkey on July 7, 1940, Ringo spent many months in this hospital as a young teenager. To pass the time, he started drumming, grabbing whatever he could to bang on his bedside cabinet. Years later, the drummer that made rings on his fingers had the right look and the right beats for the Beatles. To make more difference and all that. So they go on that to make more difference. So there you go. It can be more interesting from Ringo, John, Paul, and George to make more difference in all of this. Next page. Anyway, by 1963, Beatlemania has spread throughout England. Kids call them the Beatles haircuts, carry Beatles munch, boxes of school, something like that. Read Beatles magazines. When fans thought they were new, the band's favorite candy, they showered at stage with jelly beans while they sang, along with the fame that came the new nickname. John, Paul, George, and Ringo were called the Fab Four. Because they were so fabulous. And there comes the Beatles mania. And that makes more sense anyway from the 1960s. So there you go on that. So, to make more difference anyway. Next page. Anyway, the Beatles are now singing in fancy London theaters. And even perform from their royal family. What could be bigger than that? Brian had an idea. The Beatles would go to America. Wow. The first stop would be New York City to perform in the popular TV show, The Ed Sullivan Show. First, then off to Washington, D.C. for a first Beatles concert in the United States and America. To Brian's surprise, the Beatles were more than excited. Their song, I Want to Hold Your Hand, was a hit night in America. But where would they be? We'll find out. We'll see what happens. Even though it's a great idea, excitement. There you go on that, folks. Next page. On February 7, 1964, the Beatles arrived at New York City's John F. Kennedy International Airport. The Fat Boy didn't know what to expect until they were greeted by thousands of fans screaming their names and waving welcome signs. The Beatles had arrived in America. And so had Beatlemania. Exactly. That Sunday, 73 million Americans tuned in to meet the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, which I mentioned before. In Washington, D.C., they played in an arena packed with fans, John, Paul, George, and Ringo have Troy, Reed, Chalmers, and the Palmos. It was just a big game. To make a good difference in that in the 1964 difference. To make more difference in all that. Yeah. My tape is almost done with the one episode of Weekends. But anyway, last page of the book says this. For the next 6 years, the Beatles would give the world, the planet, over 200 hit songs. They will be honored by the Queen, their Queen, and their stars in the 5 movies. I have to do born jokes based on that. But anyway, the Beatles will become the best-selling band in music history. But through all the triumphs and fame, John, Paul, George, and Ringo will always be the 4 friends from Liverpool who made their dreams come true. Sadly, John was assassinated in 1980, and they got broken up in 1970. But then sadly. Another one of those Beatles, George Harrison, passed away in 2001. The 2 surviving members, Paul and Ringo, sadly had 1 song left in their vaults. And that is Now and Then. Now and Then's my dad. So that was the Beatles, going book biography. And it was sad that the Beatles had to finish up their songs with a huge bang. But that will be the ultimate triumph to see what's going on. So far, this book was a triumph. And this is the biggest book I ever wanted to read. So, for you guys out there. So, there you go. I don't know if I can use a bubble like that. But anyway, that was Bedtime Stories, episode number 423. Hope you enjoy it. Stay tuned, next one's gonna be Bedtime Stories episode number 424, which will be about Rhea. Marina Milcom book biography book. Till next time, suggest box of baby. We go to bedtime stories episodes. So, sit out. See ya.